people with triple bypasses, people with congenital heart failure, people with all the autoimmune diseases. I think all of the autoimmune diseases have been reversed or managed much better with the carnivore diet. Hello, friends. Another update on my carnivore journey. I'm doing well, obviously. I am in a weight loss stall, as they say, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's several possible reasons for that. I am fluctuating between about 184 and 185 pounds. My goal weight is 175 pounds. However, I'm not as concerned about that as I am about body composition. So if I weigh in at 180 and I look good, I don't care, But I do have some fat still to lose, and so I'm working on that. I'm trying a couple different things. I quit my decaf coffee, bulletproof coffee that I eat, and I'm still eating the stuff, and right now I'm going to make some without the coffee, and I'm going to try some coffee extract. But I didn't have any yesterday, and my knees and inflammation are better. I still have a little stiffness and inflammation in my knees and in my back. Not a lot, but I want it gone. And so I'm eliminating more things. And coffee does have some oxalates, although it's minimal. So I thought, oh, that shouldn't be a big deal. But I thought, well, let's eliminate that and see. And so far, after one day of not having it, it seems a little better. And so we'll see if that's related. I'm going to go for about a week or so and see. But I ordered some coffee extract so I can flavor my hot water with eggs and butter, and creatine in it, and some MCT oil with a little bit of coffee flavor and zero oxalates. So we'll see how that works out. I may go for a week or two without doing that first, just to see if the inflammation finally goes away completely. I'm feeling better. I'm out doing things. I'm still working out 4 days a week with resistance training. That could be a reason for the lack of weight loss. I'm putting on muscle or keeping it the same, however you want to look at that. Today, I wanted to talk about drugs. Just say no to drugs, my friends. Boy, when did that come out? I think that was started out in the Reagan era. So I'm dating myself, obviously. But anyways, drugs don't heal anything, my friends. All they do at best is manage symptoms, and at worst they cause side effects and make it worse in the long run. And all you're doing is you're enriching the pharmaceutical companies and the doctor. And a lot of doctors are waking up to this fact. But still, the standard protocol is to figure out what your symptoms are and prescribe some medication that's supposed to mitigate the symptom, but not heal the actual problem. And 99.9% of the time, the actual problem is nutrition, now that we're finding this out. And the carnivore diet is healing thousands, as I've mentioned before. I have tried many different diets over the years, as being a martial artist and training, and weight training and doing all kinds of things to stay in good physical shape. And one of them was the paleo primal diet. And that worked for me for about 5 years. I was able to stick with that. And I've tried keto 3 or 4 different times, and each time it worked, like as I've said before. But the problem for me has been, because of the carbs, which I didn't know at the time, it kept all of those cravings alive, wanting more carbs and sugars, because that's what the body does. If the body's running mostly on glucose, then that's what it wants. But when you become fat adapted, that goes away. Yeah, your body still needs some glucose, but it can make it when it needs it for whatever it needs it for. And then it only makes what it needs. It doesn't make excess that causes insulin resistance and so on, and sets the stage for metabolic diseases and so forth. So if drugs don't heal anything, why do we keep taking them? I bring this up because I haven't been to a doctor in over 30 years. Because I've tried to eat clean during those times most of the time, but I have fallen back into the standard American diet, the SAD diet, over the years, and especially as I've gotten older, and just chalked it up to getting older. But we're not supposed to get old like this, not biologically. We're supposed to have a good quality of life however old we are. If you believe in the scriptures, people lived up to 800 or 900 years. I know people think that may be just symbolic or what have you, and it may be. I could be wrong, but I think there's actually something to that. We weren't meant to get old, and decrepit, I should say. We weren't meant to get decrepit when we get old. And I'm already feeling 10 years younger, as I've mentioned before already. And so I attribute a lot of that. I attribute a lot of this to not visiting doctors and not getting put on drugs and not believing that I should do. I don't know, the last few times I went to a doctor, if I recall correctly, because I really can't recall when that was, it was at least 30 years ago or more, I got prescriptions, but I never filled them. The same power that created the body can heal the body. The body is designed to heal itself. You're not sick because a lack of a certain drug. And name your drug, okay? And that drug is not going to heal you. And it's also not going to give you longevity. There's people that are taking all these things, all these drugs and protocols to try and prolong their lives, to live longer. It's not going to happen, folks. You're not living longer because you lack those things. You're lacking proper nutrition. Proper nutrition from a proper human diet is the key, in my opinion, and many others. And when you go and watch the videos, you watch the Dr. Berry videos, the Dr. Chafee videos, the Dr. Sean Baker videos, the Dr. Westman videos, the Dr. Boz videos. Read the comments, friends, if you're not. And thousands of people are being healed from every disease under the sun. People with triple bypasses, people with congenital heart failure, people with all the autoimmune diseases. I think all of the autoimmune diseases have been reversed or managed much better with the carnivore diet. And it depends on how well people do the diet, I hear this a lot, I'm mostly carnivore. Well, I don't think you can be mostly carnivore. You're either carnivore or you're not. If you're mostly carnivore, you're keto or ketovore. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but as I've said, still having carbs in the diet keeps those neurons firing in the brain, wanting more. And that makes it harder to do that. I see on the forums people, how do you deal with the cravings? It's like, well, cut out all the carbs and get fat adapted. That's how I've done it, and others have done it. And I realized that people are different, and different people, when I got fat adapted, I was really shocked at how quickly the cravings left me, and I was able to get through the holidays without even touching anything. Other people, even if they were fat adapted, maybe didn't have it as easy, and so. But I think being fat adapted is one of the keys. If you're struggling in any way, I would say go strict carnivore at least for a while, and then add things back in that you want to try and add back in. Like one of the things I want to add back in is cheese. I love cheese. I don't really miss it that much since I've been fat adapted, but when I reach my goals, I will probably try to add it in and see how it affects me. And if it affects me in ways that I don't want, then I will cut it out pretty much forever. I'm also doing the l.reuteri yogurt, and I'm going to try the l.reuteri yogurt. It seems to be helping with my digestion. I have struggled with some constipation, and I've added fat and so on and so forth, which has helped, but I've still struggled with it a little bit more than I want to. And so I'm hoping this l.reuteri yogurt will take care of that rest of it. And I've tried to make sure I'm eating enough fats. And I am. I've taken to eating butter. Just, if I feel like a snack, I'll eat a glob of butter. And I like it. It tastes really good, which kind of surprised me. It sort of replaces the cheese. I used to do that with cheese. I would go get a slice of cheese, for a snack, because it's fat, but it has its drawbacks, and I don't think I'm allergic to dairy, or dairy is a big problem for me, which is why I think I can add cheese back in when I reach my goals. I'm just trying to get to my goals faster is all. I am also still having some issues with oxalate dumping, which is normal. There's not much you can do about that. And I have read on the forum some people has taken up to a year or more to stop oxalate dumping. Not that you're doing it all the time, but they've had, on and off. Although I still have some skin issues in a few spots. Not bad, not like it's a real problem, but I want it gone. But after 67 years of eating plant-based oxalates and anti-nutrients, it's not going to go away overnight. And I believe that's what's happening with my inflammation in my joints too, is that's oxalate dumping. But even though it's minor, I want it gone. Anyways, my friends, if you want to get rid of the drugs, go full carnivore. It's the only way, in my opinion. You can ease into it. You can start with ketovore or keto, but that keeps those carb cravings alive. And some people can do that and get away with it, and stick with it, and that's great. If you can do that, more power to you. I'm not saying you have to do everything exactly to me. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and what I would recommend for other people to try. I think it's important to go strict carnivore in the beginning, and then you can add some things back in and see how that works, as they say, the elimination diet. So it's nutrition, my friends. A proper human diet is what ails you. An improper human diet is what ails you, and a proper human diet is what will cure you. Drugs can't cure you. Drugs have never cured anything. Think about it. All right, my friends. Have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you're at. Peace out.